Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So still on our basic gown pattern, I want to cut out my front pattern now. My fabric is unfold. This is my front pattern and I've placed it on my fabric. So I'm using it to cut out what's my front pattern. So first thing I'm doing now is pinning my pattern on my fabric so it does not shift. So I spin down my pattern on my fabric. So first thing I'll be doing now is to add my allowance. You know, when we did the pattern, we didn't add any allowance, sewing allowance. So I'll be adding my sewing allowance now. I'll be using 1 inch. Most times for beginners, I always recommend 1.5 inch or 2 inches. Yes, because I know they can make mistakes. Whenever I'm teaching them, so I always tell them to add enough allowance in case of mistakes. I'll be using 1 inch. For my hem, I'm using 2 inches. And one thing I always do is I ensure that instead of coming curve from here like this to my hem, at this place, where my hem stops, my original hem stops, it's going to be a straight line to my hem allowance instead of curve, to be a straight line to my hem allowance. And my hem allowance is what? 2 inches. So what I actually do to get a straight line is to measure what I have here, which is 7.5, plus my sewing allowance, which is 8.5. 8.5. So I measure my hem allowance also to be 8.5, and I connect. For my neck, I only add 0.5. But if I'm turning with bias, I add 0.25. I do not need too much allowance if I'm turning with bias. So for my shoulder, 0.5 also. My armhole, I'll be using 0.5. So yes, this is my front pattern. I'll be cutting it out now. So this is our back pattern. I've pinned it to the fabric also. So what's the difference between our back pattern? It's also unfold and our front pattern is our zip allowance. Our zip allowance is already what's on the paper. I'll still be adding extra 0.5 inches to it for turning or in case I want to weave it. Extra 0.5 inches to it. If you want to use just the 1 inch, you can also use it like that if you know how to manage your fabric. If you're trying to manage your fabric. So like my front pattern, I'll be adding 1 inch to this side, 0.5 here, 0.5 here, 0.5 to the neck, and 2 inches to my hem. 2 inches to my hem. So this is our back pattern. Cut it out. So this is our back pattern and this is our front pattern. Cut them out. One important thing I always advise my students to always notch every critical point. This is my hip, I notch. My waist. My hem too. Where my hem stops. Always notch. For my front also, I'll notch for my waist. Actually, just a tiny cut there. And you can also notch like this, giving it a V cut. Like this. So, this is my hip. Just to make me know when I'm joining the correct lines to each other, connecting my hip to my hip, my waist to my waist. So I've notched. So we notch her hip, our waist, our hip, and our hem. Same for her back also. The waist, the hip, and the hem. Also, I notch where my zip allowance is starting from. My zip allowance is starting from. So, this is it. So you could be sewing your outfit with lining. You could be turning with lining, or you're turning with what? You're just turning the neck with facing. I'll be turning the neck with facing. I'll show you how to cut facing. Okay, so now to cut facing for my front. Facing is what I'm using to turn my neck, as I stated. So all I did is folded a small part of my fabric. I actually measured 3.5. I see 3.5. So that is where my neck is. This is my neck. So I'm measuring 3.5 down. Also, where my neck is stopping here, also at the tip here, I'm measuring. I have enough fabric for 3.5. 3.5. You can see. This is my fabric unfold. So the first thing I'll be doing, always ensure you're working with your pins. Pin is very important. Very, very. So first thing I'm doing is what? Cutting out my neck out from the fabric. I'm not cutting my front pattern, I'm cutting the fabric I placed it on. So this is it. I can actually decide to leave it like this. I can leave it like this because I think I like it. But also another way you can do is that if you want a round one, you measure 3.5. Same 3.5 you measure there, you measure it round till you get a round shape. Then you cut it out. So when you cut out, you have to weave the edges. You have to weave it, or you turn the edges with pliers. But I'll be leaving mine like this. So this is the end result. So I'll be doing the same for my back. Then we'll move to the sewing machine to sew our outfit. Okay guys, so this is my sleeve. I added 0.5 to this, to the tip and to the sides, but the hem of the sleeve I added 1 inch. These are my 2 sleeves. Okay guys, I'm on the sewing machine now. The important thing is you to have while sewing is your seam ripper, your pins, your scissors, your chalk, and your tape measure. They are always important, so you will be running helter-skelter when you are sewing. So as you can see on my fabric here, I read a straight line. This straight line serves as my waist. Remember we notched our waist. This is my waist here. So I read a straight line from the first edge here to this edge here. So this will serve as a guide for my dart placement. Remember on our pattern, we did our darts. I placed our dart on it, but I didn't cut it out, so it automatically it is on still on my fabric. So I have to take in my dart now. So the same way we measured it on our pattern, 3.5. Remember, nipple to nipple divided by 2. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So you take half inch on both sides, half inch on both sides. So also ensure to measure your dart legs. My upper dart leg was 4.5. So 4.5 here for my front pattern. 4.5. and the down part was 6.5. Yeah, so I'll be taking in my darts now. So one thing my line also serves as is to give me what is straight line, so I will ensure that my waist are connected to my waist. So I'll be folding on my 3.5. This is my 3.5, half inch here, half inch here. So you can see it on the other line here also. So just so you even get it straight. So this is my 4.5. This is my 6.5. So my sewing will be starting from here. Remember how curve we did it? But because it's a beginner's class, I'll actually draw the curve for you to see. So it will just serve as a guide. So you are sewing on these lines. In your dots on these lines. So the first thing, you top stitch. What do you mean by top stitch? When you pedal your machine and it comes forward, you also press the reverse lever for it to go backward. Then you leave it to come forward back. Okay, so this is my needle in the half inch. So I also top stitch at the end also, or some people call it back stitch also. So I've taken in my darts for this side. So I'll be taking in the second dart also. I'll take in the darts for my back patterns also. For my back also. So this is how everything will be. So after I've taken them in, I'll take them to the pressing table and I'll ensure I iron. It's always important to iron while sewing. It gives you a neat job. Always iron when you're sewing. It's important. So I've taken in my dart, my front, and my back. So I also iron. When you're ironing, ensure you always iron with steam. Either with steam, or you use your industrial iron, or you use a steam iron. So if you don't have a steam iron and you don't have an industrial iron, you get a steam bottle. So you spray. Also, I always advise that you use pieces of fabric to test the right temperature to iron with, so that you don't place iron directly on your fabric and it burns it. So first get the right temperature. So you can see it's getting curvy. Yes. So the next thing I'll be doing is to fix our zippers. I'm fixing my zip and also be doing my slits at the same time. So this is our long zip. It's also called the gown zip. This is our long zip. This is the shorter one. So the shorter one is mostly for blouse or for skirts. So this is our long sleeve for gown. First thing I'll be doing is I'll be measuring where my zip stops on my gown. and I'll go 1 inch above. Can see me? I went 1 inch above. So I'll join. These are my back, the 2 backs. I'm joining them. I want to close it. So this is where I marked. Okay. You can see that I chopped this. I chopped it. It's for me to know my allowance. I'm doing this because of beginners, like I said. Beginners, so you understand better. Allowance. Remember, on my pattern, we have 1 inch on the pattern, and when I wanted to cut out for my fabric, I added 0.5 to it, so making it 1.5. So what I have from here to here is what? 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. What I have from here to here. So from everything here is 1.5 inches. So I chopped it. So I'll know where to place my zip on, and also where to close for my slits. So my closing starts from here. Closing here. See where my closing is starting from. So I can just measure 1.5. Yeah. So for my slit also, I want my slit to be 8 inches. But you remember we've added 2 inches for hem. So I'm going to measure 10 inches upward. So 10 inches. This is where my 10 inches is. So that means I'm sewing from here to here. Sewing from here to here on 1.5 inch. So always remember to back stitch or top stitch as so that your seam will not be losing. That's that. Close it. So I have my slits. I'll be using my hemming glue to iron and open my slits. This is my slits, and my zip will be here. So I'll be fixing my zip now. So normally this is our zip, but it's not possible for this place to be showing. So what do? I turn it. I can decide to actually open up my zip. So this side is for here. One thing I always tell my students is to do what? Work with your pin. See this edge. Work with your pin. I always tell my students to work with your pin. It's very, very important. And most times when you want to pin for sewing, you pin like this, so the machine can pass through it easily. When you pin like this, the machine cannot pass through it. But when you pin like this, the machine passes on it easily. So you can also get a zipper fruit. Just remember to back stitch. So when sewing your zip, you don't rush. You take it slowly. can see how my machine is passing on the needles without any obstruction. Always cut out excess. See, and see I followed my line. So, and you can see my zip. My sewing is not too close to the teeth and it's not too far from it. It's perfect like this. When it's too close to the teeth, it causes obstruction when you want to zip it. Okay, so I've fixed the other side also, and I've ironed. See it? I've ironed. I only ironed. I've not done anything to my slit. You can see how neat it is. So I've ironed my zip area. So my back is ready. Okay, I'll show how I fixed the other side. Let me open up. Remember, I fixed this side. So all I did is also turn this one this way. This is our zip. I opened up. I turned this one to this side. Turn this one to this side. And you sew here. This edge. So you sew this edge. So. So remember, I actually separated this one from this one, the zips, and I did this like this. You can't do that for this one like that. Why? Because remember, you've closed this place. Assuming you've not closed this place now, you can actually do it like that also, straight down. Then you zip and you bring out your zip. But if you've closed, you have to first bring this one together first and close it a bit. You have to close it above where you've joined, so it will come out. It has to come out. So you can now place your zip like this and sew. So be careful about where this edge is. Very, very careful, or you take it to the last end. And you sew. So when you want to sew where the head is, you ensure your needle is still inside, but you raise up the lever and you bring down the zip, bring it out down small, so you can continue sewing this piece and you top stitch. Okay. Don't want anyone to make that mistake. But assuming you've not closed up, you can actually just do the two separately. Then you zip up, then you close, bring it together like this, and you close this to the slit area. So it depends on anyone that is convenient for you. In sewing, there is not just one way, there are different ways to achieve the same results. You can do it in different ways, and the aim is to achieve the same results. So what will I be doing next is joining my shoulder to my shoulder, shoulder to shoulder. And remember, our sewing allowance for our shoulder is 0.5. So on my machine I have quarter inch, half inch. 0.5 is half inch. So that will be guiding my sewing. So if you don't have such on your machine, ensure you measure and chalk it. And remember to back stitch. So
So I've joined my shoulder to shoulder, my front and back, and I've ironed. I also joined my shoulder to shoulder for my facing. Remember our facing that I've cut, and I ironed also. So I want to turn the neckline now with the facing. So when turning the neckline to be the right side on the right side. You know, we'll be working on our other side of the fabric. So I'm ensuring that my shoulders align. Ensure shoulders align. So you can also notch the center parts. Notch them and ensure the center aligns with center. I see my zip is between the facings and the original fabric. So remember allowance 0.5. So that's what we're working with. Always remember to do what to backstitch. So one thing you always ensure to do when you sew cuff seam is to do what? To notch. Always remember to do what? To notch. Always notch, so that it will sleep well when you iron it. But before we iron, I want to close this area to my facing. So I'll also be sewing on this same line where my zip is. I want to join my facing to my fabric. So I'm sewing on this same line or a pit before it's that is convenient for you. I'll do that for the other side also. So I'm gonna iron now. I'll show you the results.